Bonnie Blue, Narcissist booted out. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Highly provocative narcissist Bonnie Blue has found herself on the receipt of a visa cancellation. As news.com.au reports, Australia has cancelled the visa of British escort Bonnie Blue after she ignited a firestorm of controversy after publishing a call-out for barely legal 18-year-old men to film porn videos for her OnlyFans pages during Schoolies Week. News.com.au has confirmed the visa was cancelled in the past 24 hours on the grounds of allegations that Blue intended to contravene her 12-month visa by working in Australia. It was this intention to work that is the basis for the cancellation, not the campaign over her plan to have sex with teenage boys aged over 18 during Schoolies Week. The shock move prompted Blue to lash out at middle-aged Karens for leading the charge for the government to take action. Ms. Blue told news.com.au on Friday that the visa cancellation was news to her. "I'm currently in the United Kingdom. It is definitely something I would appeal," she said. Pausing there. Through this road show, this allows her to assert control over a group by having sex with them. She also draws copious amounts of fuel from them as a consequence of this sexual interaction. How so? Well, it's proximate, and those of you that have read my book, Fuel, will understand that the proximity of the narcissist to the provider of fuel is hugely important. And accordingly, by having sex with somebody, although they'll be an intimate tertiary source, meaning that she doesn't know who they are, other than perhaps their name and a bit of background, although the potency isn't particularly high, the amount will be substantial. And of course, because she has many men in a day, she's not only getting large amounts of fuel from them, with all of the oohing and the eyeing and take this, you slag, but also, of course, she's thinking of the pounds and the dollars mounting up as a consequence of the residual benefits of people watching all of this content that is being filmed. Thus, she gains thought fuel from that, and there is the residual benefit of the money. The coverage of the cancellation, of course, is advantageous to her because it also provides fuel. She's being spoken about, and as a narcissist, that's what she wants and needs. However, this is a threat to control because it's challenge fuel. Now, ordinarily, when she's provided with challenge fuel of the nature of criticising her for what she's doing, expressing outrage that she's targeting young men, expressing indignation at the fact that she's had sex with a father and son at the same time, that is not problematic to her because she thrives on it. It's shithousery, if you will, on her part. And she simply nullifies the threat to control very easily by simply thinking, "You're just envious, you're not me." That's the arrogance and haughtiness of this particular narcissist. But the cancellation of a visa is problematic to her because it prevents her from working and prevents her from gaining the residual benefit of money. It closes down a particular market to her. Hence, that's why she states it's definitely something I would appeal. And she then utilises the narcissistic manipulation of threat by stating she warned she would take her roadshow to another international location, i.e., if you guys don't want a piece of this, she then stated, I would do schoolies in another location like Fiji. It's beautiful, but in terms of the petition, it really is pathetic, she said. Haughtiness. OnlyFans is $1 billion business. All these middle-aged Karens, insult, are saying these people are not consenting. They are. It's rubbish. They've got passports and they've got consent forms. Regardless of the outcome, I'm leaving Australia anyway. I've got a team and people in Australia. Dismissiveness. Immigration Minister Tony Burke weighed in on the drama on Friday, warning the situation wasn't complicated. The Australian visa system has rules. If you don't obey these rules, don't apply, Mr. Burke told news.com.au. It's understood that Miss Blue has been offshore since August after previously living on the Gold Coast, from where she invited newly graduate high school students travelling to Surfers Paradise for Schoolies to join her and creator Annie Knight to create content for their OnlyFans pages. Bonnie Blue and I are going to be pleasuring some barely legal 18-year-olds and we are so excited, Ms. Knight said in the TikTok video. Meet us there, we can't wait. But the posts horrified Australian parents who called for the British sex worker to be banned from Australia amid growing concerns for the safety of the teenagers involved, threat to control. The self-proclaimed high-class escort, who attracted a wave of criticism in recent weeks over a similar stunt during the UK's Freshers' Week, issued an invitation for newly 18-year-olds attending high school graduation celebrations to meet her at the Meriton in Surfers Paradise. But the 25-year-old's upcoming stunt has sparked community concerns and led to calls from furious Australians for the sex worker's visa to be cancelled. Despite the Change.org petition's pleas for Ms. Blue to be booted from the country, the adult star has remained indignant, nullification of threat to control, claiming she's doing nothing wrong. I received backlash for sleeping with barely legal 18-year-olds, but the key word in that sentence is legal, she said in a statement. Rather than comment on my TikToks, people should complain to the government to increase the age from 18 to 21. I'm only complying with Australian law. If it rises to 21, I will then film with barely legal 21-year-olds. Blame shifting and dismissiveness. Of course, the Karens of the world will still complain. I can't win. Even when my videos are completely legal, with written consent, ID verification, each participant has to pass a breathalyzer test. Almost 10,000 people have signed the petition, which argues Bonnie finds school is the perfect opportunity to find young boys to prey on, which is correct, she is a predator, and record sexual content to sell residual benefit. This is her sole working job whilst living in Australia from the UK. How is she contributing to our society? There are so many parents who are already worried about their kids being at schoolies as it is, let alone when there are multiple girls, including Bonnie Blue, whose sole purpose of joining these events is to prey on young boys and make explicit content. The petition organiser said that if the Australian government cannot stop Ms. Blue from being in the country, then she should be banned from attending this year's schoolies event. There is no suggestion that Ms. Blue has engaged in any criminal wrongdoing. Activist and survivor Harrison James echoed the concerns raised in the Change.org petition, telling news.com.au he believed the OnlyFans creator posed a real risk to the young school leavers attending the annual Gold Coast celebrations. I find this situation deeply alarming. Throughout adolescence, young boys particularly are frequently exposed to damaging messages through mainstream pornography that reinforces harmful beliefs, that their worth and masculinity are tied to any sexual conquest, Mr. James said. When OnlyFans creators like Bonnie Blue specifically target barely legal boys in environments like schoolies, it exacerbates a pre-existing issue, the encouraging of young men to equate any sexual encounter, even as exploitative, with status and validation. This environment is further complicated by alcohol and the emotional intensity of the celebrations. He continued, the current safeguards and age verification processes are not foolproof, and the stakes are too high when dealing with young people navigating new-found independence. Mr. James, who was molested between the ages of 13 and 16, is currently fighting for good character references to be removed in the sentencing procedure of paedophiles convicted of child sexual abuse with the Your Reference Ain't Relevant campaign. In an effort to shine further light on the concerns surrounding Ms. Blue's plans to film with school leavers, Mr. James shared a video of himself calling the Meriton to alert them to the situation. While these creators emphasise that all encounters are consensual and involve proof of age verification, there are significant concerns surrounding the vetting process of that, he states during the TikTok clip, which has been viewed almost 1 million times. If an incident were to occur involving a minor or someone unable to give true consent due to intoxication, it would be a devastating incidence of sexual abuse and exploitation, so I'm deeply worried about the potential concerns if proper precautions aren't taken. Accordingly, Bonnie Blue finds her visa revoked, which is a threat to control, and she responds by dismissing people's concerns, calling people Karens, and saying, I'll just go somewhere else. In fact, I will go to Fiji. Oh dear. Poor old Australia, huh? Missing out. So off to Fiji she goes, only for Pedestrian to tell us, just a week after Bonnie's Blue visa to Australia was revoked, reports have confirmed that she and fellow sex worker Annie Knight are currently in Fiji, where they are now facing deportation. Fiji has decided to give her and fellow sex worker Annie Knight the boot as well. The duo had grand plans to film OnlyFans content during the country's schoolies celebrations, and according to Bonnie's Instagram stories, has already bonked 24 for the class of 24. However, things took a nosedive when Fiji's Home Affairs Minister Pio Tikoduar declared them prohibited immigrants, saying the pair breached their visitor visa by filming OnlyFans videos. I have exercised my authority under the Immigration Act to declare Tia Billinger, the United Kingdom national, known by her screen name Bonnie Blue, a prohibited immigrant, he said in a statement. This comes after Deputy Prime Minister Viliami Gavoka said today that these individuals are harmful to the image of Fiji as a tourist destination. The pair had been reportedly staying at a popular resort in Nadi when authorities swooped in. It was also reported that their cameraman will also be deported. Accordingly, she made the threat that she would go somewhere else. She did go somewhere else, not as a consequence really of her threat, but she didn't have any choice after all. Australia said, "You can't stay here, your visa has been revoked." So off to Fiji she goes, only to find herself deported from there. And this is demonstrative again of the law of collateral consequences. That this narcissist, by virtue of being highly provocative, has to repeatedly put it out there as to what she's up to, what she's doing, how she isn't doing anything wrong, and that she's behaving in this manner, in her world, doing something which is entirely proper and correct. However, because her narcissism needs her to be controversial in order to provoke reactions to draw fuel, in order to generate interest which might translate into the residual benefit of money, it means that she is on the radar of lots of people, many of whom disapprove of the way that she behaves. Furthermore, it puts her on the radar of authorities. So whilst her highly provocative brand of narcissism enables her to garner lots of fuel, it then means that people are aware of what she's doing, which then means that she contravenes visa considerations and is also seen to be harming the tourist industry of Fiji. Result, cancellation of visa in Australia, threat to control, deportation from Fiji. Once again, it shows how her narcissism focuses on the moment and isn't bothered about what comes next. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.